Hello everyone, welcome back to Hyperbole. I know it's Hyperbole, but I say Hyperbole, that makes it mine. Just got out last night, hours ago, of Furious 7. Yeah, I recorded this last night and it was about 20 minutes with no sound. So I just went to bed and got up and I'm doing it now, first thing in the morning. It's a bit tricky to do this and not do a history of the Fast franchise, but this series is in its 7th installment, and it went from a street racing drama with really the only good thing about it not coming back for the sequel, and then the third not even having the other guy come back, looking like a Wild Things or one of those other movies where the reason it's made is gone, they're just making a movie about racing with the name. You know, those kind of direct-to-video type things. To having everyone come back for a big action franchise sequel, then adding The Rock, having them all team up, and now this 7th one with revenge. And I don't like the street racing culture. And that, I mean, like, these guys are criminals. Absolutely 100%. They are. There's no way around that. And they're glorifying it and trying to glamorize it. And it doesn't work for me. Like mafia movies like The Godfather, I don't like it. And there's elements where you can have the story actually overpower that. Like, the tale they're telling will go beyond its origins. And they've gotten there now. But that took The Rock mostly to do it, I felt. Because when he got added in Part 5, they finally added a character I actually cared about and rooted for. And he wasn't even the villain of 5, he was just the antagonist. He's a lawman trying to catch criminals. Period. Dot. And I liked his character. And in 6, they actually had him team up and it was great. So, with that we have 7. And the director who did 3, 4, 5, and 6 left. And we have James Wan doing this now instead of Justin Lin. He's more known for horror stuff, but I never let that be a knock on someone. It's worrying, but you might get the Russo brothers doing Captain America Winter Soldier. They know enough to make this work. This, he knows about 80% to make it work, is what it felt like. Fast and Furious movies are about fast cars, big action with them, heisty type stuff now, exotic locations, and this movie has all that. Oh, and the theme of family. And this movie has all that. But it's like 80% there. It's like someone... The story sucks, but the plot's good. If that makes sense. We literally go from being like in the mountains in a chase scene to discussing it on a dock to the next location that they learn about is in the desert and they're driving. And then in this sequence here of driving in the desert, because they're in the Middle East, there is a song playing to show you the cars zooming through the desert, complete with a guy walking his camel, to Abu Dhabi, with the city showing it, and there's probably 30 edits in 10 seconds. It's so, yeah. And then new music for when all those cars pull in, and it's pose, and it's a cool moment, but it's a new song immediately. Like, it interrupts the prior. And then we get to another new song when we see one of the girls coming out of the water on the beach. And it's like, it's been 3 minutes and there's 3 songs and it feels very music video-y, feels very, this is what you like the music with the cars and the babes, and it's just, no, that's, you don't do it to do it. It's gotta have its place. And you've gotta be able to breathe. And that's another huge part of this movie that really I have issues with. Die Another Day did a bit where it's a wide shot and Bond is driving, and then suddenly it goes, and it, like, the camera moves, but it's fast forwards to another angle and the car is moving off. There's no reason for that to happen, and it's really jarring, and it's one of those phrases where it reminds you you're watching a movie. Now personally, I'm gonna get comfy for this. Personally, I hate that argument because no shit. You're watching a movie, duh. But there's times when, like, you're getting engrossed in it and involved in it, and then something happens and it takes you out. For some people, that's the music. For some people, that's the editing. Like, it doesn't work. For me, the music just gets you more into it. It gets me in. So when I notice the music, it's amazing. Some people, they notice it and it pulls them out. For me, this kind of editing pulls me out. And we open with one of the best things of the movie and one of the best introductions I've ever seen in a movie. It's Jason Statham's character. He's in a hospital room and he's facing a bed. He turns and walks out and the camera turns around behind him. And we see like people in the hallway, and then it does that, and now that quickly we're in the elevator, and he's facing away from us, turning around to press the button, and then he's walking through the lobby, meeting up with a guy, does something, now he's outside walking past a car. Now, scene geometry, you clearly know what's going on. But it basically is so fast, it may as well be a jump cut, and it's jarring because you're losing the geometry even though he's walking out a door and down a hall. It doesn't need to be there. And it doesn't happen after that. It's so jarring. Like, why is it there? And yet at the same time, Jason Statham is in this movie, and he does what The Rock did in 5. He's the antagonist. Except, yeah, he's a villain. We went from street racing punks with the Fed who turned to a prison break which got a manhunt and then on the same team, but now they're on international like James Bondian levels of stuff that goes down, and there's a hitman after them. Pretty awesome. And that's Jason Statham. So The Rock is in the movie, which is the literal reason I went and saw 6 in the theater. And he's not in this one as much. They Terry Crews'd it. They took him out at the beginning and he comes back at the end. He does stuff in the end. He doesn't just show up. It's never a question of will he, but it's why I'm here. Thankfully they replaced him with Jason Statham, who really, this franchise has become a heist movie franchise with cars. And it's entertaining for that fact. And then Jason Statham is literally transporting his way into these scenes like a monkey wrench. Because he's hunting the team. So as they're doing stuff, he shows up. And it's great. Like there's one bit where I totally forgot about him, and an elevator door opens and he walks in with a gun. You're like, oh god, now what? Because they're in the middle of their Mission Impossible style plan, and he shows up with a machine gun. Like, oh no! What? It's so good. So he makes it work. He elevates it up when Rock is gone. And of course, they fight. Oh, they fight. They fight. Tony Ya's in it. He's in his Hollywood debut. He's awesome in it. They fight. And him and Paul Walker, they fight. And then, of course, Statham and Diesel. So, I just rambled on for 8 minutes about that. About how I feel about this franchise and stuff. This movie is definitely worth seeing. Absolutely 100% go see it. If you like the last few, go see it. If you like any of them, really go see it. But if you're like me and you really came on board with these recent ones, absolutely go see it. However, keep in mind, it breaks its own rules and is kind of dumb. It's a little too stupid. A little too fast, too stupid. What I mean by that is there are literally 2 moments where something happens and one of the participants has no idea that that could even have been possible. You know that scene in the trailer? That scene in the trailer where the bus is teetering and Paul Walker's character jumps off the end of it and grabs the spoiler of a car that's spinning like this, and he grabs it and is pulled to safety. You know that scene in the trailer? Well, the perspective of it is like this. And this is the bus. So if you're the car, your line of sight, you have no idea that he's doing this until the very end when he's jumped in the air already, okay? And it's probably a minute where he's like the bus is teetering and he climbs out and goes up. It's the Lost World Jurassic Park. It's a tense moment and it's good. People were gasping in the audience. I was like, because I know it's successful. It's part of the flaw of trailers, but the audience was still like, oh god, because they did it well. They added angles and stuff to it you didn't see in the trailers. It was good. There's no way that the driver of that car knew he was going to do that, or when to do that. because the first time she could have seen him is when he was already jumping. And the car doesn't go fast enough to catch you. So how did she know to do that and to catch him? Or when? Okay? There's another scene later where literally there's a drone driving after someone, a predator drone, yes, is chasing after someone in a tunnel. And it's like there's an overpass over the top. And they drive out of the tunnel, and someone else who's driving in an ambulance drives, like Terminator 2's it, right through the barricade and crashes on the drone with that ambulance. Two things. We're back to this person driving the ambulance had no idea when. Like, there's no line of sight. There was never... You know what the line of sight was? When he's literally on it. Because it was like this. It was... The drone was going. He drove through and caught it. That's how quick that was. So he had no way to know when to do that. He also had no idea that was even happening because he wasn't part of the chase until midway through, so he didn't know any details about it. For all we know, he was just driving off that part because. So, then the crowd was like, how did he know to do that? And earlier they were like, how did she know when to drive? In a franchise where I'm okay with you driving in Abu Dhabi from one tower to the next, and we buy that. Or someone jumps off of one car to catch someone in midair with momentum keeping you going onto the next. And we're buying it. When you're doing stuff like that, and we're okay with it, you can't just say, oh, he drives off and crashes into it. Well, how's he know? He drives off and crashes... No, you got to give us a reason on that. That kind of stuff takes me out. So, the last bit that was really annoying is when it breaks its own rules. And in a franchise like this, you can't do that. You've seen the bits where that bus goes off the edge. Well, there's like miniguns on the side with armor-piercing rounds. And Paul Walker always has the really speedy cars. And he's on the side, and they open fire on him. And he's like swerving like this, and the car's getting pinged up. Not armor-plated at all. It's getting shot to hell, and he's like doing this, and I don't know how they haven't shot him or destroyed him. But he's doing this and into the side and trying to get out of there and falls back. Okay. Later in that chase scene, he's in the van now, or in that bus. No spoilers there. And one of the bad guy cars comes up, because it's part of a motorcade. And is up beside it. And it's like through a camera, so people are just operating it. And he sees it, and he presses the button, and it opens fire right into the side of it, and he goes, and flies off. I don't know if they were armored, I presume, but if they were or not, he's doing this to keep from being hit, but he's being hit, and it's not sending him flying anywhere. But this one gets hit in the side 3 times and woof, flies off because there's a cliff there and it's convenient and looks cool. You can't do that, because the moment that happens, I'm going, why didn't that happen to his car? Because that's what should have happened. To make us go, oh, it's going to happen to the bad guy now. No, if it happens to the bad guy, we're like, why didn't it happen to him? You can't break your rules like that. Don't do that. All of that aside, this franchise has become its own kind of Expendables with an insane cast. We had Ronda Rousey, Tony Jaa, and Kurt Russell, and Jason Statham after The Rock 2 movies ago. And they're all great. Ronda Rousey's kind of bad in her delivery. She was better in Expendables 3. But she's good. She looks perfect in this. Hey, guess what? She plays a royal bodyguard and has 3 elite guards with her. And Michelle Rodriguez takes them out. No surprise, she's the good guy. I'm not going to ruin anything for you there. In the last one, when Gina Carano was playing The Rock's Special Forces aide, or was that 5? No, that was 6. I had problems with that, considering that really it's a Special Forces chick, and she's fighting this tough from the streets. And you know what? In the fight in the subway, Carano was winning. And it's not just a matter of, oh, Gina Carano would beat Michelle Rodriguez. But it kind of is, because Gina Carano, former MMA fighter. And the fun part of that was she was winning. And it's like, yeah, you're tough from the streets. That's a special forces chick. You're out of your league. They have a rematch later, blah, blah, blah. This one, Ronda Rousey, is an MMA champion. It's tough from the streets. Who's elevated, yes, but is a tough from the streets. She single-handedly takes out 3 elite bodyguards. These are royal bodyguards in Abu Dhabi. They're for a Jordanian prince. They are actual elite royal bodyguards. The 3 that Rousey's character picked to say, let's go. Okay? She takes them all out. Which, alright, maybe, but it's 3-on-1 for one. And they're elite bodyguards. She's a tough from the streets. What? After she takes them out, Rousey gets involved. And it's a one-on-one fight. And it's a good one-on-one fight. Problem is, it's like the Rodriguez-Carrano rematch, where she's the elite of the elite personal bodyguard of the prince, and this tough from the streets, after fighting 3 of them, kind of takes her out. They kind of negate each other, and when she leaves, it's just over. I don't buy it. Now, when a tough from the streets fights an international assassin, like Jason Statham's character does when he fights Vin Diesel's Dominic Toretto, I'm okay with the street tough winning sometimes, because he's built like Vin Diesel. Humans don't look like that. A human that looks like Vin Diesel can beat up a guy like Jason Statham. You can buy it. Just the raw, you can buy that. And I don't buy it with Michelle Rodriguez. I've never liked her beyond that, but I'll give her credit. Those fight scenes were great, but so beyond all that, Jason Statham transporting up is great. Kurt Russell kind of reverse snaking it. He's like the military guy now. It was great. This franchise is fantastic, but it's a little bit of a misstep. But really, if 5 and 6 were 10s, this one's like a 9, maybe even an 8. But it's just a step below. But that doesn't mean don't go see it, because absolutely go see it. And no, the other movies are not 10s, but that's, you know what I mean. It loses a bit. It's not quite there. But if this guy comes back, I have full confidence that he'll be like, all right, I got my footing. I know where I slipped up. Here we go. So, there you go. Absolutely go see it. And this movie's going to make $100 million or whatever it's going to be. So, there you go. GPC stuff. I did do the April Fool's episode of The Fast and Furious 1. It's basically overrated. I am doing 2 for the next episode. And I do plan to do the rest because I have all of them. So, we'll see at some point where they are. I'm not going to do the whole summer of it. Maybe. But, yeah. So, thanks for checking that out, but don't forget about the show's name I forgot, Box Officer, because we're going to see what happens tomorrow when this movie's box office comes out. It's probably going to make $120 million. Officially, the summer has started on the April weekend, not May. Yeah. So, thanks for watching. See you next time.